Okay. I have been using the live feature, and I can only use it on my laptop, and yeah, and it's out of laziness. Come on, okay, because I don't have to upload afterwards, and it takes a long time, and yeah, clearly it's not working. I just watched that, well, not just, but I did watch it, and it's just not up to par. It's very annoying. If I was watching that video, I'd be pretty annoyed. So yeah, so I'm doing it again, which is annoying. I think, how many times can you fit annoying into 2 minutes of conversation? Well, I think I've done a pretty good job there. Okay. So I often forget about the music in the background. By the time I've done a video and I can hear it, I just think, alright, but I forget about it, so sorry. Okay. Now, programming your cards. Now, it's just simple. I think I've waffled on too long before anyway. It's probably good I'm doing another video. All it means, programming your cards, just means your deck. You decide. You decide what means in that deck. So, if you want to use reversals, if you don't, just an example, if you want to have a specific interpretation about maybe one of the major, or any card, any card, sorry. If that's what you want to program your deck to do, then go for it. It's your deck. You have a conversation with your deck, and often the images will speak to you, and they will let you know, or they will consult, and you can together decide what you want to program your deck as. And all it is a set of rules that you place. Okay, you place on that deck. Now, I just want to point out that it's really important when you're learning, because there are so many if, buts, and maybes in tarot. It's unbelievable, especially when it comes to cards, especially when it comes to reversals. Now, that is a whole kettle of worms I've decided not to get into, which I did last time, so it's probably a good thing. Kettle of worms? I just mixed two metaphors, I think. But anyway. Can of worms, kettle of fish. Yeah, there we go. Now, you decide. Now, the glorious thing about programming your deck is that you can change it. Just need to cleanse your deck, set the new rules in conjunction with your deck, and off you go. It's that simple. And if anybody overcomplicates this concept, don't listen. It's that simple. It's your deck, right? Tarot, I agree, is the great spirit, is the great universe speaking to you. But you have say in how that happens, and especially when you're learning, for goodness sake. I had so much trouble with all the experts and everything, and especially because I wasn't even learning the same sort of tarot that these experts were talking about. And these were, let's say, fortune tellers, a lot of the time, and that's just never the way I saw tarot. It was always as a guide into my own inner psyche, as a spiritual guide, as spiritual tools for growth, and that's the only way I've ever looked at them. Now, so you decide. And as I said, it's very important that you realize, just while you're learning even, that you can decide those rules for that deck. And if you start to grow as a reader and you want to change them, cleanse the deck. Do it again. Change the rules. Set the reprogram them. That's all. It's not that. It's I think a lot of times, and I'm not going to get into the reasons why or whatever, but people try to overcomplicate very simple issues, or very simple concepts even. And I can't comprehend it. When it takes me a long time, and it did take me a long time to stumble onto this, because I've only heard it occasionally from other readers. Every now and again you'll hear it. Yeah, but it's still not very widely, yeah. Oh, well, not in the circles I know. Perhaps it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm not in the right circles. But no, I don't see it as being very widely known that this is something that should be done, especially when you're learning. And even the words "program your deck." I mean, that's goodness. I just think it's a very complicated way of saying set your own rules. And I've got many decks, and I've got many decks that mean different things. Especially my clarification decks, they definitely have different meanings. They're a little bit harsher than my usual decks. They'll allow reversals. They'll do all that sort of stuff because they're clarifications. Now, my workhorse decks, no reversals, that sort of stuff. But the courts mean different things, and that's important because courts, look, maybe you're a genius, I don't know, but, well, maybe you are actually. If you're highly clairvoyant and very intuitive, you might not have had as much trouble as I had with the damn courts. I had so much trouble. But the moment I accepted them, I had a good run, hang on, accepted them as parts of myself, and then afterwards looked at them as other people, only once integrating that thought and that process in my learning tarot process. I had to do that. I had to eliminate the idea of them being other people and just to get to know them. That's just how I had to do it. Everybody's different. That's why it's very important to program your deck. Decide what you want to do, decide how you're going to do it, and program your deck, and then reprogram as you need to, or get another deck as you need to. I only had the basic fundamental decks for many years while I was learning. Not even learning, just even while I was growing. And I guess it is learning when we're always learning, aren't we? I just realised how silly that was. We're always learning. So if you're constantly integrating, and if you're constantly, you should be reprogramming your decks. And as it is for me, I've actually gotten so ridiculous that now it's new decks that I get are programmed for different things. But yeah, it's probably getting out of control, I actually realise. But my workhorse decks, they've meant the same for a long time, and it's important once you do know, and once you really hold that vibration with your deck. These are my workhorse decks. You can really trust them. It's about building trust. But you can only do that after you get to know the tarot. So you need to set those rules just so that you can filter the rules as they come, filter the messages as they're coming in, because sometimes it's just too much. I mean, especially if you're trying to integrate reversals early on, oh my goodness, there are 78 cards in the tarot deck. If you're trying to integrate reversals, that's 156 meanings, and I might add, not one card has one meaning. That is multifaceted meanings. 156, that's definite meanings. Can you imagine? My mind, look, maybe I'm just not very intelligent, but no, my mind boggles at that. So my advice would just be, just get down the integral meanings before you start doing that. Or just intuitively. As I said, if you're very clairvoyant, if you're highly intuitive, then you might just know what to read and what not to intuitively. Okay, and that's it. I've been alluding to doing the programming of cards for ages, and it's very silly that I haven't actually, because there's not really much to it. It's just your rules for your cards. Write them down. I'd actually, not everybody's as forgetful as me, but I write them down for each deck. But I've got a lot of decks. But my workhorse ones, no, I know them intimately. But when you're learning, change as needed. Nothing set in stone. You can program them for 1 week if you want, goodness sake, and then cleanse them and then Work with another thing, whatever works. Tarot is so personal, it's so intuitive, and I cannot emphasize that enough. Yeah, get to know your deck, get to know it at your pace, at your level, with your rules.